A very good day to you. I'm Hank Gross, MidHudsonNews.com. It's Monday, April 15th. The news today brought to you by the Galleria at Crystal Run. The City of Newburgh's planned $37,000 City Council retreat scheduled for next weekend at the Mohonk Mountain House in New Paltz has not gone unnoticed by Orange County Executive Stephen Newhouse. The county executive noted there are plenty of opportunities for retreats and conferences at hotels in Orange County and not to travel 28 miles to Ulster County, but he said the decision was up to the Newburgh lawmakers.
We do leadership, classes and seminars for our teams. The legislature does their stuff. They have their caucuses, and they get together for dinner and discuss how they're going to do things or some of their priorities. And they do it on their own. So that's up to the city. If they think that's a wise use of taxpayer money and the taxpayers allow that to happen, then so be it. But that's just not how I operate.
The City Council approved spending the $900 per single occupancy rooms for the weekend, in addition to spending almost $25,000 for a consulting firm to conduct a series of government educational discussions with council members. Longtime Newburgh public servant Elizabeth Betty Green passed away on Friday. She served as town receiver of taxes for 28 years and currently as town councilman. Fellow town councilman Scott Manley called Green's passing very sad news and a huge loss for the community. Mid-Hudson's congressional representatives are responding to the crisis in the Middle East following the attack on Israel launched from Iranian soil. Congressman Mike Lawler, a Republican, didn't mince words when it came to how he feels about the Iran attack. Lawler called out his Democratic colleagues who have been calling for a ceasefire. To my Democrat colleagues who've been calling for a ceasefire or regime change in Israel, do you now understand the threat, he said. Iran and its proxies are hell-bent on eradicating Israel, he said. Congressman Pat Ryan, a Democrat, expressed support for Israel on the platform X as well. Congressman Mark Molinauer, a Republican, expressed criticism of President Biden's leadership in a media statement. When America blinks, our enemies take advantage, he said. The Hudson River sloop Clearwater launched America's environmental flagship for its 55th sailing season this past weekend. The boat, modeled after river sloops of generations ago, has a mission of Hudson River education, says co-captain Rory Kane. The sloop was the brainchild of the late Pete Seeger, world-renowned singer and environmentalist who lived in Beacon. Kane had the pleasure of meeting him once before, and he believes if Seeger were here today, he'd be pleased with the progress of the river.
I think he'd be pleased with how hard people work to protect it. I think that the cleanup of the river is an ongoing process. I think that there's an endless amount of work to do always, but I think he'd be happy to see that people are kind of living his ideal, which is just getting out and caring and doing something.
The Clearwater sailing season runs through October. Lawmakers in Albany are considering new legislation that would require passengers on charter buses to wear seat belts. On September 21st of last year, a charter bus carrying students from Farmingdale School District tumbled 50 feet down an embankment off Interstate 84 in the town of Wawayanda. The National Traffic Safety Board has opened an investigation into the cause of the crash that killed 2 adults and injured dozens of students. More news right after this.
Find over 100 retailers allowing you to spend hours shopping safely at the Galleria at Crystal Run. Enjoy the big brands and the diverse selection of family-owned stores all in one location. The Galleria at Crystal Run offers dining options for everyone with Fuji 110 Grill, Allen's Mediterranean Grill, and Peru Cuisine. Discover the Mid-Hudson Valley's premier shopping, dining, and entertainment destination, the Galleria at Crystal Run. For more information, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit GalleriaCrystalRun.com.
Police have arrested a 23-year-old Bronx man, culminating a 5-year investigation into the cold case murder of 26-year-old Sebastian Avalon Medina in the city of Middletown. D. John Constantine was arrested in the Bronx in connection with the March 11, 2019 homicide. that occurred at 23 Knapp Avenue in Middletown. It's a known fact in Albany and Washington that the majority political party decides what legislation is discussed and adopted. Republicans Carl Brabernick of Deer Park and Anil Bifan of East Fishkill have recently proposed legislation they believe to be sound, yet it will not make it to the floor for a vote. They're in the minority party. Bifan has proposed exempting Hudson Valley residents, in his words, who serve critical roles in New York City's functions from the congestion pricing measure just adopted by the MTA board.
It's not their idea, which is the sole reason they're killing this proposal. I can tell you that there are members of the majority that have similar proposals with regards to exemptions for congestion pricing. But the problem is that they don't include all of our vital city employees.
Bifan said the Democrats' proposal does not include first responders, physicians and nurses, and those coming into Manhattan for medical treatment. Brabernack, meanwhile, is upset that the Assembly majority would not consider his bill to make fentanyl a felony offense.
Many of us in the minority party have very viable and good solutions that really should be brought to the floor of the Assembly, be brought to the floor of the Senate, and actually debated on the merits of the bill.
There are occasions where a minority member convinces a majority member to sponsor his or her measure to bring it to the floor for debate. Sullivan County Sheriff Michael Schiff and Orange County Sheriff Paul Arteta say their offices are closely monitoring the situation in Israel and remain in close contact with federal, state, local, and community partners. Schiff said, as has been the practice since the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel, increased vigilance and law enforcement presence will be exercised throughout Sullivan County. Orange Sheriff Paul Arteta says his office will also continue to work with federal, state, and local partners to share information and conduct investigations. Any suspicious activity should be reported immediately to 911, he said. The Dutchess County Division of Solid Waste Management has launched a new grant program for municipalities to purchase and install composting equipment to provide local composting opportunities for residents. The county is offering matching grant funds of up to $50,000 per project to partner with towns, villages, cities, and school districts that are looking to reduce food and organic waste through composting. I'm Hank Gross, MidHudsonNews.com. The news today brought to you by the Galleria at Crystal Run.